Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hunter Base Podcast. What do Maverick Hunters do when they're not hunting Mavericks? They go back to the base, recharge, and shoot the shit. I'm your host of the most, Zeromaster, and with me this time, I have two returning guests. My co-podcaster on the Noise Boys, the Noise Boy from the wherever, it's Doom.
Hi, what's up? I'm here. I'm back. Well, thank you for inviting me back. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming back, Doom. And also, a returning guest, good buddy of mine from a long time. You may have seen him on this and other projects we did before in the past. It's Eric. Ciao.
Hi, everybody. I swear I'll get back to streaming at some point in my life.
Well, now that you said it, I mean, I wasn't going to say anything.
I mean, when I get a
well,
new PC,
we both have
yeah.
a case of shitty computeritis right now. So
Yeah, no. So I'm waiting for an upgrade too.
we're both like literally. I said off screen to these guys that I'm literally like, just for reference, to anybody listening to date this, I am recording this before the Pokemon direct thing I did with Kirby is even done, as well as Noisecast 9. So yeah, this is being recorded like weeks in advance, but that's because I think my computer is only going to last long enough for me to be able to do all that. So yeah, here we are in a post-Sonic world. But let's just hop right into it. We saw the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
We did.
It was a film.
We all have different opinions on it. Well, I mean, sort of, yes.
I'm good. I hate being the. I don't like being the old man about things, but I guess that's gonna be me.
But you gotta have that differing opinion, because if collectively everybody has the same opinion, that's kind of boring. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean,
the other thing too is Eric's more familiar with Sonic than I am. Like, I'm kind of newish to Sonic. Like, I got into Sonic with Heroes. That's where I am.
yeah,
this
no,
franchise.
and I at least got into Sonic. Well, not majorly into Sonic by this point, but I at least started with Sonic during Sonic 2, at least.
You also know how to play some of the later games, like Adventure 2 competently, where it's me and my friend Bill yelling.
Like, seriously, just watch my goddamn Twitch stream. I have highlights. I have, like, God knows how many highlights from that stream.
See, it's okay, Eric. We got our friend Tintin. He's an expert at the game. He played the rest of the game for us.
Fucking Christ.
It's one of the best games, Zero. You want to be good at it.
I mean, to be fair, if rumors are to be believed, we could be seeing a Sonic Adventure original remake soon, so...
I'm actually okay with that idea.
That would be nice, because as I know that a lot of people, those games have their fans, but they definitely need a remake. They definitely need not just a remaster like we've gotten, but a full remake with like more, I wouldn't say more modern stuff, but something that's more like akin to what modern gaming the advantages modern gaming has, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well,
anyways,
just be careful how hard you wish on that monkey's paw. Remember what happened to Warcraft 3?
Yep. Look, all I want is dope levels, some fun characters to play, Chow World, and I don't know, Shadow without a gun. Like, that's really all I want.
Eric, I'm so glad I waited and didn't pre-order Warcraft 3 Reforged.
I saved my time with it because I wanted to get the collector's edition because I wanted that mount for that meat wagon mount. I'm like,
oh, I saw that. That actually looks really dope. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not a
no.
Warcraft guy, but the stuff with that shit's cool.
yeah, no, that mount looks really sweet. But I was like, nope, hold back.
So, a movie about anamorphic creatures that's not Warcraft, the Sonic movie. I just want to start off by saying that even though they did the redesign and everything, and I wanted to go into this movie because I thought it was going to be trash, so I already had low expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it that it wasn't garbage. It was, if I can say spoiler for the review, it's like a 7 to an 8 for me. And it was a film a comprehensible film, and it wasn't. It didn't really shit on the lore. It didn't really do anything that pissed me off. So I was surprised that we got actually a good video game movie in a long time. The first one in like a long time, unless you count Detective Pikachu. But that's that's iffy because it's a game, but it's space. It's more focused on the franchise. Anyways, what spoiler-free thoughts? What are your thoughts, Eric? You go ahead.
Well, personally, with someone who's a big fan, but also came in with equally as little expectations. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be bad or anything. I was just kind of expecting it to be like mediocre at the worst.
Yeah.
Because like they actually seemed like they gave something of a shit about what they were doing. Like, I don't imagine it was like, oh, like, they didn't give a shit at all, or like they cared so deeply about this project. I at least imagine they gave some modicum of shit about this project, so they didn't want it to be like, just a cash grab, immediate. Yeah. But they wanted to actually try, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear it. And one thing I was thinking in the back of my mind is that, it felt like when it was initially revealed, we did that podcast about the initial reveal before Sonic's design got changed. That it felt like the people working on it, like there were people telling like the higher ups, be like, you can't make Sonic look like this, you can't make it do this. It's not, people aren't going to like it. And the higher ups were like, no, it'll be fine. We don't care if people are upset. People got upset enough that they changed it.
Yeah, no, and I think that just proves a point that they care about it a little bit.
You have to put something into it, and apparently even Sega wasn't happy with it.
Yeah, no. But back to the point I was saying, as far as expectations, how I thought it was great. Again, out of all video game movie adaptations I've seen, this has probably been my favorite. Again, not a perfect movie. There's a lot of problems and a lot of inconsistencies with it. But it's more like, the movie type of problems where it's like, of course they're not going to do this because that would be too easy. It's a movie after all. It's supposed to last about an hour and a half, so you gotta, wade through the water somehow a little bit.
These days, an hour and a half's rare for a movie. I'm so used to 3-hour movies that
I think this was like an hour and 57 minutes about.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so
most movies now are like in the almost the 2-hour time frame, though.
But yeah, no, like that movie could have been over quickly because Sonic be fast. But again, for everything that it was, I still think it was a great picture. We were thinking it was going to be like one of those fish out of water stories, but it kind of ended up into like a weird, almost buddy cop movie. Which I'm kind of okay with this.
It's weird to think about when you think of a Sonic movie being a buddy cop movie. It's like, what?
I mean, how many times did our male human protagonist punch someone in the face?
A couple times.
Enough.
Like, seriously, I'm like, okay, this is more than just that weird fish out of water story they keep doing with these property movies. There's actually, like, some grit to it. Like, barely, but there's, like, still something there.
It felt like they did the fish out of water thing for literally 5 minutes, and then they're like, no, he's lived here for like 20 years.
Yeah,
and then it was also a road trip movie, which there are a lot of bad road trip movies, as much as that pains me to admit in talking about this film, though. But yes, it kind of combines all of like the schlockiest of like the comedy genre and puts the video game into it. Like all the successful plots are there. The fish out of water, the buddy cop. There's the goofy love story going on with the husband and the wife because they don't get to see each other very much. They're playful. It's very tropey, if I can say anything. All the good tropes are there.
Yeah, no, I think it did a very good job of balancing everything out, and like it didn't feel like too weird as opposed to some other things, which I can get into comparisons later.
Yeah, it didn't. I like what you said, Doom, about it being like the good tropes because my first thought was like, what is something of bad tropes? Oh, the Michael Bay syndromes stuff. That's like bad tropes, like just big explosions and big like guys, which was big in the like 80s, but like now is like it's just a dime a dozen. We've all seen it, so it's like,
and it feels like kind of a lot of those throwback genres too, like in comedy, because like nowadays you really get the gross out humor movie and like. Probably some other, like, really boring stuff now, but, like, the road trip movie was a classic. A lot of my favorite comedy films from the 2000s are road trip films.
A lot of popular comedies were road trip movies, so it makes sense.
That's the thing. This movie feels like it was made, like, 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Does it not?
Yeah, I kind of get that, but...
No, for sure. Like, there's a certain nostalgia to it that comes more than just with Sonic being there, because... Like, it's a throwback movie. We have Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. Like, boring guy who's kind of cool, I guess. Like, nameless guy. But it feels like a throwback to something like the 90s would have been. Which makes sense a lot for Sonic, because he came out and was big in the 90s.
I just remembered his name was Tom.
Of course it was.
I mean, it would have been funnier if his name was like Chris, because, Sonic X
Oh,
jokes write
God.
themselves.
Oh, God. That's going to be their son, like the two, like Tom's
God.
son.
Oh, don't. Can we get into weird potential spoilers at the end, or like potential thoughts?
Yeah. We'll get to more spoilery stuff as we go on. Obviously, like I did that thoughts on video, which was basically my initial thoughts. I had seen the movie like an hour prior to filming that video, so like, and I tried to be as spoiler free as possible on that. And of course, I've now had a time to settle, so things are, some of my thoughts are different. But I think one thing I want to get before we move on is, Doom, you told me you weren't a big fan of it when you saw it.
That is correct.
I didn't think it was that great.
That is correct.
Can you like elaborate without going too heavy into stuff that we're going to talk about soon? Or
yeah, I can, because I remember we all kind of took a big poo on the original design, saying it looked bad, and then when I saw that they fixed it, the first thought in my mind was, okay, so it's really good that somebody over there cares. It's like when you watch like the new Godzilla flicks, and the monsters look good. It's like, okay, that's a good representation. But also in my brain, I'm thinking it was going to have like this incredibly terrible plot with this terrible Sonic. And I'm thinking it was originally going to be so bad that it's really funny. Mm-hmm. And then I realize now with the new design, it's going to balance out and then probably just be very meh to very bad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of very predictable things. There's a couple of things that made me scratch my head and say, why are these characters doing this? I did have a couple of honest laughs, even though some of them were general, like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that, like in like a cringe style laugh.
Yeah.
But there was a lot to process. I'm glad that you said that your thoughts have changed on it too, because I think mine have as well. Maybe not for like to be more on your guys' side, because as I've already said, I'm probably going to be the old man on this one, but definitely I think I can have a better perspective on it now after I've let it sit for a while.
Yeah. One thing I want to like point out is one thing and this is like subconsciously that I didn't think about before going to see the movie, is the want to see the movie because I thought it was going to be really bad was kind of gone after they did the redesign, because I'm like, okay, they tried. Now I'm seeing the movie because I feel like I owe it, like after, being like I already said I was going to see it once, so I already knew that I was going to have to do a video on it no matter what.
I mean, yeah.
And two, I just felt like, why don't I give this an honest look? I have low expectations for what this is going to be, but Jim Carrey's in it, being Jim Carrey. They spent like 6 months fixing everything, which I'm sorry to all to the studio that got shut down.
Which is not because of the Sonic movie. Let us be perfectly clear about that.
It's not. No, they had multiple projects, and Sonic was like
so many people that are blaming the movie itself for it. I'm like,
wait.
I
actually did not realize a studio closed down over this movie.
It was the Vancouver wing of a Californian studio, I think. They had multiple projects, and they were hemorrhaging money. So when they got the Sonic movie, they thought this would be the thing that saved them, but it was, by the time they had finished it, it was too late. So,
does anybody else know any of these other films they were working on?
I know they worked on the live-action Lion King movie.
So
they did.
All right,
they did.
They
did
Life of Pi.
as
You need to know there.
They can go away. Sorry,
they also
guys.
did. They also did the work on Life of Pi. So they did a lot of the CG work on that. So it sucks that another Canadian CG studio's been shut down. But I mean, that's what happens when you take on too many projects. So. That's the way it was. But no, they did a fantastic job, like, redesigning everything. So I really, I went into this movie going, I said I was going to watch it, and if it wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog, I probably wouldn't give a shit otherwise. I didn't care about Hop or any of those other... I don't really care. I don't really watch, those CG movies, like Pixar or anything like that. I'm warming up to them now because of this and Detective Pikachu, and I've been watching on Netflix. I'm not done watching it yet, but the remake of Mewtwo Strikes Back, because I want to see what it's like. I'm warming up to those type of movies, but for years I just didn't care about them.
Wait, is that CG?
Yeah,
it's CG. It's
really
weird. It's very plasticky and looks like it has a distinctive look. So it's weird at first, but I'm enjoying what I've seen so far. I've only seen like the first like half of the movie because I had to go in the middle of it, but I'm gonna finish watching it. I want to see the rest of it. It is weird though because I'm used to the original cast from the Pokemon show, not the newer ones. So I'm like, it's weird for me there. So
this looks actually rad. By the way, I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanted to look this up. This looks actually rad. It has like a really weird reboot, also like toy vibe to it. I kind of dig this. I like this better than the animation for Detective Pikachu. Actually,
it's funny because I'm the opposite. I think I like the Detective Pikachu style more, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
Before we get into the movie proper, though, one other thing I want to mention is the audience we were seeing this with. So I don't know about you guys, but I saw this. I saw like what do you call it? Matinee, a middle of the day show, like a 1 o'clock-ish kind of show. And of course, the theater was filled with a lot of kids. There was adults and kids, mostly kids because I guess I don't know kids. It was a snow day or something. The day that the movie came out,
Valentine's
or something.
Day.
So, and it was Valentine's Day, yeah. So there was a lot of kids there, but there were also adults. There were people who came into the theater, and I saw the clothing they were wearing, and I'm like, "You're here to see the fucking Sonic movie. I know you are." Just looking at it. I, of course, wore my Mega Man shirt, so I blended right in. But yeah, it was interesting because, of course, some of the jokes I didn't find as funny as the kids, and then there were jokes that I found funny that none of the kids found funny, but then there were some that we both liked. So it was interesting. What about you guys? I guess I should say I know Doom because you told me already that you went with a buddy and it was the same thing, and there was adults and kids mostly.
Yeah, I think at a certain point though, the parents weren't happy because me and my two cohorts that were there were in great festive cheer to watch this movie, and we were laughing at things that we thought were bad, good, indifferent, and I bet you we were those people in the theater. But
I was about to say, so you were those guys, really?
They were in the only. I think the kid and the mom were the only two that realized it because we were in the same row as them. We weren't in a very packed theater. Like there was a good amount of people there, but there wasn't like a super large amount. Like there was space between people.
Didn't you say one of the moms gave you a look, and you think it's because she caught you smoking your jewel?
Yes, I do believe that is a thing.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, if they want to charge $14 for me to go to the movies, I'm gonna do what I do, and if I don't get caught, it's fine. Don't dime me out to my movie theater, please.
I'm not gonna call your movie theater up and say that that you were smoking the weed Awanas in there. It's not gonna happen.
I did actually see a couple of like, I did see a dude with like a blue and white shirt. I think it might have been a Mega Man shirt. He had like the beard and like the ponytail and like a Sonic the Hedgehog beanie, and I was watching this man like kind of like grossed out, and then when I realized that he was just there to like watch it and kind of troll with it, I was like, oh okay. Respect. You went all out on this. I did not.
Me, when I had my long beard and long hair, minus the Sonic beanie, because I don't own one of those. But I do have a Mega Man hat.
I had that Sonic beanie, though, at one point in my life. I don't know why, but I had it.
What about you, Eric? What was your viewing like? Because you went with your wife, didn't you?
That is correct. We did it for our Valentine's Day date.
And you guys are still together, though, right?
Fuck off. We both enjoyed it.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, it was way better than we both expected it to be, and again, reiterating the point from earlier, and the audience generally was mixed. You had people who were our age there, you had parents and children, and yeah, it just had a pretty decent reaction, and it was just pretty neutral all around. You had a few people chuckling here and there, but mostly semi-silent. Like, you can tell people were enjoying it, but they weren't, like, going crazy over it.
Yeah.
There was a few moments where you could hear a few people burst out a bit, but that was, like, at some of the more obvious jokes, like, Is the Rock president yet?
Oh.
That one's one of the... Here's the thing, you laugh at that either when it's bad or good. I laughed at it for both reasons.
I actually groaned at that one.
But anyway, so to the movie proper, I don't know if we're gonna go this beat by beat, but like like we said, it starts off with like, well, actually, it starts off with the a cliche that
in media res.
Yeah, how do you say it? Like you're probably wondering what's happening right now. Let me take it back.
Again, in filmmaking, we call that an in media res start. It's happening in the middle of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I know what that's called now, by the way. Because that specific trope, I hate that. It's
a common thing in film writing where you start in the middle of, or even playwriting, when you start in the middle of something and you go back to the beginning before everything happened.
Honestly, I laughed when that happened. I'm like, oh no, I'm doing this.
I mean, starting with that line is a cliche, but I feel like doing it in media res is a good way to start people off with a Sonic movie. Like, I feel like doing that makes the most sense, because starting with that whole flashback portion, I feel like it would have been a little too jarring.
Yeah,
To go from Green Hill Zone to just the human world and, the first 5 minutes of fish out of water bullshit.
By the way, I noticed something when they did go to the part where it's like Babby Sonic running around. Did they use the Sonic Mania theme song for that?
I think they did.
I think it's a remix of it, yeah.
Because I heard it, I'm like, that's the fucking Sonic Mania theme, and I only know that because I've beaten Sonic Mania now. So
I love the music in this. Yeah. I just want to put that out real quick. Love the music in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the music, the soundtrack was great. When they finally started playing "Don't Stop Me Now," I was like,
"Oh wait, never mind. That's my only black eye on the entire soundtrack."
What?
Really? Like,
yes.
people were like demanding that song be in the movie. Like, literally.
Bohemian Rhapsody almost made me completely hate the band Queen. Sonic drove that nail in the coffin.
Oh well, you're just a Queen guy.
You're just not a Queen fan.
Guy.
I'm sorry. Like, I do love Queen. It's just like it's like it's so obvious that I knew that it was. I guarantee. Like, I was like, I bet they'll do this stupid thing. And I was like, if the film is smart, they won't.
Here's the thing. Fans were... Well, it's kind of the opposite. Fans were stupid, and they thought that it wasn't going to be in the movie after seeing the Gangsta's Paradise trailer, because they thought they were going to do, like, this weird, hip and fresh, how do you do, fellow kids kind of soundtrack.
I wish that was in the movie, though. It would have been sick.
I still wish they remade the first trailer using the new Sonic design. There's got to be an edit of that somewhere.
Yeah,
like I said, there's got to be an edit of this film before they change Sonic's design. Because
I just want that version of the trailer. I want that Gangsta's Paradise trailer, but just with the new Sonic.
I want the original cut of the movie.
I don't want that.
I do. I want the original cut. I want to see what it looked like.
Because
then I feel like if I actually hate that one, I'll be able to reward this movie.
You know what? That's how they're going to sell the Blu-ray. They're going to have clips from the original version of the film on the Blu-ray that are still there. They're going to sell you that.
I hope they just include the movie with the old effects.
The
like,
thing
even
is,
if they're not
it looks
finished.
like they changed parts of the movie with the effects as well. So
yeah,
there's like that whole stretching scene. That one's just not in the movie, and that 9 million steps line isn't in the movie either. So there's clearly some things that they took out when they remade Sonic.
Well, it's typical in movies when the trailer comes out, you're still working on the movie, you're still editing it, you're still getting shots finished. The point of the trailer is to see how excited people are for it. Like, the movie's like, even the best example I can give is Star Wars. Like, they were way behind schedule, and the trailer actually has like unfinished shots in it. So, like, you can hear like background audio and shit in it. It's crazy. But like, even today, like they're usually still editing or doing something with the movie when the trailer drops. And the trailer's just a gauge to see if what they've done so far is working. And obviously they saw it.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably like a clip compilation. There'll probably be like a clip compilation on the DVD of the old design, probably with some commentary about, yeah, this design was kind of crap, wasn't it?
This is a movie I want on Blu-ray, by the way. I want the behind the scenes on this. I don't know if I've said this before, but I love behind the scenes shit. Hell, I just watched a 4.5 hour documentary on 80s horror movies. Yeah.
I was going to say, speaking about the CG in the movie, the thing that caught me off guard and just kind of made me jolt in the back of my seat for a moment was when we got to see the Knuckles tribe at the beginning of the movie.
Oh my god.
Did that make anyone do like a double take and they're just like, wait a second, it's not just Sonic?
I didn't realize they were echidnas at first, and then I thought about it and I'm like, was this fucking echidnas?
I like that because the same thing happened to me. I only found out it was echidnas by reading the plot summary on Wiki.
If they don't fucking make a Sonic and Knuckles movie, I'm gonna be upset.
Oh, I guarantee that will be the next movie, but hold on.
Well, the next one's probably gonna be Sonic 2, because this one's kind of like Sonic 1, so...
I mean, people were already pointing out, like, this is people who were, like, analyzing the trailer and stuff from when they made the remake design. A lot of people were pointing out, hey, there's some Easter eggs in here, so you kind of... Because now that I had that in my brain, I was paying attention to when they actually had the CG stuff in there and being like, did they do anything else?
Yeah.
And so when I saw the Knuckles, when I saw the Knuckles tribe, I was just like, oh no, they actually put effort to do that.
Oh yeah, for real, it's Nux! Oh, never mind.
And now, you sit here and wonder, oh god.
I think that had to...
Were they in the original take?
I don't think so. I think that was a post thing that they put at the beginning. Because I think the animation looks a little bit smoother just in that one segment, but it might also be because it's a mostly... it was a pretty 3D generated world, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it might have just been that, but I felt like it was a little bit smoother. Like people have had time to actually and know what they're doing with the characters.
I don't want to drone on this for the start for too much longer, but there is one thing I want to point out. I said in my thoughts on video that I feel like this is like because of the way they told Sonic's origins in that flashback, it kind of feels like it's a new or a different continuity.
I think that was the plan.
Because the thing with Sonic is you have just including the main game series is you've got classic, you've got modern, you've got boom, and now you've got, I guess this would be its own universe too. So yeah. I still say if they make a Sonic Generations 2, I want all four of those together. I want you to be able to. I want to play as buff Nux with regular Nux. That's what I want.
Nah, give me the other movie Sonic in that too, and I'm down. I want shitty movie Sonic.
Make it an unlockable skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his origins is weird. I guess he was raised by some owl lady who reminds me of the owl from Zelda.
Yes. I mean, it's one of those surrogate mother figure sort of things. And it's like,
and then it cuts to Sonic living in a city called Green Hills. That's kind of on the nose.
It's actually just a small town. It's barely even a city.
Yeah. But he's lived there in kind of the background and kind of been an urban legend too. For years. Because I'm assuming he's lived there for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
he's 6 at the start of the movie in the flashback, and then he's got to be teenage, because when the original Sonic came out, he was 15, 16 is what they were going for, because that's the age demographic they wanted to attract with the game.
I think they wanted to portray Sonic as a child in the movie. They portrayed him really small in the flashback, but they kind of wanted to portray him as more of that annoying kid in the actual plot movie.
Yeah, I felt that too.
Which I think was the intention. So when Sonic was being really annoying, I was just sitting here going no, that's Sonic. There's nothing I see wrong about this. This is exactly what Sonic is. He's an annoying piece of shit.
Yeah.
Can I just say I am so happy that certain Easter eggs made it in, like Sanic. I was bursting laughing.
Goddamn crazy guy.
I was crying laughing at that, because I was like, why is this in this?
It's such a perfect way to do it, too, because it's this crazy guy who's he swears to God he sees it, and he draws a sketch of it, and it looks, like someone crazy drew it. And that is just such a beautiful thing to reference. I swear to God that I could actually hear some other people laughing when we saw that picture of Sanic just get revealed, and you could just hear a bunch of 20-something nerds just start snickering.
It gave me hope that I could have got a Chris Chan reference. It really did.
I don't think I think a Chris Chan reference would be a little too much.
A guy can dream. A guy can dream.
I understand, but you'd also have to get some Pokemon licensing in there, and that's the whole thing.
Just put the Sonichu necklace somewhere in the background, zoomed out.
No, I said this on the last one we did. I know how to do it. Sonic runs through a truck of paint, and it just so happens to be yellow paint. So for 5 seconds, he's completely yellow, so they can get their Sonichu thing. I don't know. That's the best one I got.
I will say I like how they portrayed the power of Sonic in this. It wasn't just Sonic run fast. There's actually some power inside of him that, the weird lightning bullshit.
And the thing that I thought the entire time is like, oh, it's either one of two things. It's either his boost ability, or it's their take on the Wisp from Colors, like the one that does the boost, essentially.
And luckily, it was more the former than the latter, because getting the Wisp involved in this, I feel, would be kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to expand Sonic's move set in future ones, I could see them bringing the Wisp, because the Wisps have continued on in the franchise since Colors. So
people like
it's been
Wisps.
The one mechanic that's really worked, and they've still done it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Wisps or some kind of thing like Wisp. But I was a little confused at the end. I thought we were going to see Supersonic, but then I remember, oh wait, I don't even think Supersonic's in Sonic 1. Is what my thought was.
I think what they're going to do... I mean, since they're already portraying Sonic as an alien creature in the movie, I think adding aliens on top of aliens would be a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I also like how they're blatant about the fact that Sonic is otherworldly and weird, and everyone's still weirded out by the whole thing. It's like... Because... And this is going to be a weird comparison thing that I'll go more in depth on at some point. Comparing it briefly with Pokemon, you just kind of have to buy into it to begin with. With the Sonic movie, the characters are just as weirded out by this as probably, like, any normal person would be, you know? Like, it's not like something you have to accept. You gotta kind of... You don't have to really accept Sonic because he's supposed to be otherworldly. He's supposed to be not normal. This isn't something that would exist in our world.
It felt real. Like, that's how people would react if they were forced into a crazy situation.
Except the biker bar, when they just explained that, oh, he has a condition, and then everybody's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing. Because then one of those bikers was going to punch him in with a condition. That's trash.
Here's the thing. With the old design, that makes more sense. Think about it.
Yeah,
the old design, it makes more sense.
Oh god, I hate that you brought that up, because that's actually true. Fuck.
With the old design, it makes sense. With the new design, it doesn't, but it just makes it funnier that way.
I thought by the way, I know we're jumping ahead, but I thought when they did that scene, the Tom guy was going to say, what, my friend's a furry. What, are you hating on him?
It's 2020, we accept all.
It's current year.
Like, if they had said the word furry, that's just like showing Sonic's feet in this movie. Something will happen.
At least they were in socks.
Yeah, we never saw Sonic's actual barefoot.
Thank God.
We saw
we don't need
holes
those people
through
here.
the socks.
And we got a 3D rendering of what his foot probably looks like, but that doesn't count.
But like, man, now that I think about it, like I wish they had done a furry, like a slight furry joke, because that would be a little more progressive.
and you think my hope of a Chris Chan joke making it is out there?
I feel like you gotta put the limits somewhere. This is still a PG movie, and again, I think with being fair with the rating, you do have to judge this on the fact of, hey, it's a PG movie. What were you expecting?
That's true.
Yeah. I'll wait for the Shadow movie for my rated R fucking Sonic movie.
So what? Let me ask a couple of questions then. So, what do you guys think of the, like, obviously we've talked about Sonic, but his personality, it matched up with what I expected.
Yeah, no, I expected him to be an annoying little shit, and that's exactly what I got. I mean, they even acknowledge that he's fucking annoying in the movie. Like,
exactly.
Even Sonic admits that he's just like, yeah, it's part of who I am. And I'm just like, nope, that's about right.
He's like a late blooming teenager, is how I feel he is. He's like, he's still got that kid energy, but at the same time, he's an annoying fucking teenager. Fucking.
And can we just talk?
But I like him.
And can we talk about how the performance from Ben Schwartz was genuinely great? Like,
yeah.
And again, I'll bring in the stupid comparison bullshit later, but it sounds like they actually genuinely casted him because he could actually voice act. Not because he's just a big name they can put on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, I'll get into more detail about that when we do some comparisons.
Yeah. But yeah. Because I think they nailed Sonic's character correctly. Like, that's exactly what I would expect for him.
Voice, personality, everything kind of worked out perfectly.
And like certain things, like he didn't know Tom's name, so he just started calling him Donut Lord because he's the guy who eats donuts.
And he talks to donuts. He talks to them
you have to remember that.
Can we talk about Tom though?
Tom is wonderful. I'm sorry.
I like Tom, but like, because he just like he taught like the fact when it showed the scene of him like practicing his goodbye speech. his resignation basically with a fucking donut, and like he's just like, and him at the start of the movie at the side just looking for fast cars and shit like that. The funny thing is, like, that reminded me of a scene that's in fucking Super Troopers. The guy gets the gun.
I honestly think the biggest surprise is that they gave Tom a personality outside of generic white guy. Like, they gave him some little things that made him more interesting than just, typical white male protagonist in a kid's film.
And the fact that he's like a guy that like wants to go to San Francisco to be a quote unquote real cop. And when I heard that, I'm just like, you better fucking show that scene where of Sonic running down that iconic street in San Francisco. Because if you don't, you're wasting a golden opportunity.
I don't think they had him run across the Golden Gate Bridge.
No, they didn't.
They didn't, but they had him run the street, essentially the big like hilly street.
Oh, like, I know the one you're talking about.
The one that's in City Escape.
Yeah, I don't think that was actually in the movie.
It is.
Is it?
It's very brief though. That's the only problem.
They should have made,
and he's not being chased by a truck, which I wish he was.
I mean, to be fair, the focus at that point was on Eggman's goddamn, or I should say Robotnik at this point. But I mean, he calls him Eggman in the film, which is great because
he calls him Eggman the same way Sonic calls him Eggman in the English version of Sonic Adventure.
Yes.
Like it's an insult.
And there's a reason why he calls him that, and they kind of justify because, well, he's been giving nicknames to everyone else because of what they do or what they have. He's calling him Eggman because all his robots are just shaped like eggs.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Little on the nose, but it works.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, and also I love that if you look in the control panel during that montage that Robotnik does, you can see that they're called badniks.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that.
There's like a little like when he goes to his power station to turn the power back on, you see a switch there, and just crudely taped on there, you see the word badniks written down.
Yes.
And I saw that, I'm like, well, that's a good one.
So Tom is quite a character.
Tom's fine.
No, it's fine. I liked him. Actually, I say one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the scene when Robotnik comes to his house and tries to like get in and find Sonic. That like him and Jim Carrey worked really well.
Yes.
Like I thought that, and their constant like throwbacks to that scene when Tom's like, I beat you once, so I'm big man on campus, so I'll beat you again. And let me remind you about the embarrassing time I beat you. And then Robotnik's like, well, I have robots. He's like, oh, okay.
I think Tom's insane, personally. Like, I feel like, okay, they have to make somebody who's kind of like, I think that was his big reason to want to leave San Francisco, because, like, the small town's making him crazy. Because he's talking to fucking donuts for half the movie. So I was like, okay, this guy who kind of doesn't seem like 100% stable would definitely hang out with Sonic. So I thought that was a good, like, I thought that worked.
I mean, he participated in a bar fight. Of course he's fucking crazy.
And he's just like a notch above, like, could be the most generic dude ever.
Again, they didn't have to give him a character, but they did anyway.
They gave him they gave him enough to make it noticeable for me.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I'll say though is like I kind of agreed with Sonic. I'm like, why would you want to leave like Green Hills? Because it seems like it's like a safer knit community. Instead, he wants to go to San Francisco and be a cop. Like, no. I would never do that. I would pick Green Hills over San Francisco any day.
It's the idea about being a hero, being respected for what you do, and that's kind of the big thing that he wants out of it, which probably is another reason why he relates to Sonic, to be fair. But he wants to feel like important, big, and Sonic's trying to bring the point to him, you are important to these people. It may not feel like it to you, but what you're doing matters to them.
Exactly.
I thought
like the guy organizes duck crossings, okay?
I don't think that had to be as big of a fight as it had to be. Because these characters don't know each other enough. Like, granted, Sonic probably knows him a little bit more because he's been stalking him throughout the whole movie. But, like, it just seems like, okay, these guys have only really known each other for 24 hours and they're already having, like, a domestic fight in a car, like, screaming at each other.
What I'm happy about is that they kept that note so brief. Like, they kept that to one argument and then they just never brought it up again. It's a stupid argument. It was a dumb point to make. And I'm kind of glad they just kind of glanced over it for the rest of the movie until, like, the end, where the, big moral of the story comes up.
Can I just say I was very relieved that this movie didn't have a liar revealed moment? Because,
Thank
like,
fucking
holy
God!
It's because this is a trend in PG movies where they just have to have that to force conflict. And I was like, thank God.
Because that argument is where it could have happened. That argument
the movie would have went down
happened.
to a 5 if they had that in there. For me, it would have went down to a 5 because I'm like, there's no, like, you can't have that. And the entire time I was watching the movie, I'm like, please don't do this trope. This is the one trope I just don't want you to do. Do whatever else you want. I don't care. Just don't do this one trope. Because, oh man. And I'm so glad because, like, Tom, what I like about Tom is he gets it pretty quick. He doesn't have to, like, treat it Sonic like he's this weird guy for very long. He's just like, yeah, I get it.
He just accepts it.
That.
He's like, yeah, I guess this is what I'm doing now. I don't have much of a choice.
I like that. I hate that I would hate for him to have in the back of my mind, I'm like, I gotta get rid of this guy because blah, 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 he's ruining my career kind of thing.
Yeah, because the only thing that's going to stop you from being a domestic terrorist, you're going to get rid of that.
I do love how Robotnik managed to frame him to be a domestic terrorist. Like,
can we talk about that? It's weird that Sonic the Hedgehog has a plot of domestic terrorism.
Well, they had intergalactic terrorism in Sonic Adventure 2, so is it really far-fetched for Sonic Media to have terrorism themes?
That's true.
Why was the president in this movie?
Zero, this is going to be so crazy, but this is why he goes to Guantanamo Bay.
Fuck.
God damn it.
But great segue to Jim Carrey as Robotnik. I think best character in the movie, personally.
Oh,
like,
agreed.
Like it's one of those things. Like, yeah, it's Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey again, but holy shit, he hasn't been a Jim Carrey character in such a long time.
I am gonna say that I do feel some genuine Robotnik / Eggman vibes from him, especially at the end. But I do feel like yes, it is Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, but I do feel a little bit of pseudo Mike Pollock influences coming in every now and then.
Yeah. That's one of those things because when Jim Carrey says a character, he really does. So I feel like even if we say Jim Carrey didn't go out there and play a bunch of Sonic games, he probably like watched a compilation of all the cutscenes from a bunch of games to figure out how the character
and probably some of the cartoons too,
and the cartoons too, because like Robotnik is a certain type of villain and. Jim, to make it work in the Jim Carrey like spectrum of characters, you've got to kind of know what you're going into, and that's what I love about Jim Carrey. Like he takes it seriously, and you could tell genuinely when you watch like the interviews and stuff, he cared about this movie. He cared about being in the role, and that's so refreshing because there's so many people who fucking phone it in or don't care. They just read the script and that's what it is.
Yeah, so. There's that interview where he talks about Eggman's motivation, and he kind of hits the point like directly on the head. And all the Sonic fans were just like, "Yes, no, this is exactly who Robotnik is."
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a '90s movie. What do you expect? This is a '90s movie. Jim Carrey is at his absolute funniest. It's of a property that worked well in the '90s. I'm really starting to think that there was a large 90s style influence into this movie.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And that's the perfect thing to do for Sonic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just
exactly.
Wow, just off. If we could have had this in the 90s, this would have been like the greatest film ever made.
I also like that they saved his more video gamey design for the end of the movie. Like if you did that right from the start, I wouldn't be able to take it seriously. Like, I wouldn't be able to take... Yeah, it would be correct, but it wouldn't make sense in the terms of what the movie was trying to establish. So I like that he basically at the end goes crazy and looks more like the game Robotnik.
Oh yeah, no.
Yes.
Like, everyone was like, oh, why doesn't he look at that from the beginning of the movie? It's like, it's a slow descent into madness. Come on, people.
I think I called that on the initial podcast, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that. I just think it's weird that the first trailer spoiled an ending for us. But
I mean, they kind of had to hook you in with something in that trailer, to be fair, because if we just saw the Sonic, stuff, we would have just thought, oh, it's going to be generic this, generic that, Robotnik's going to look nothing like that. And then you show that small clip from the ending, and then you suddenly get people curious, like, well, how does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, too, about that is, like, I was kind of nostalgic when I'm watching the movie for the Jim Carrey parts, because, again, that's the type of, like, character acting that he's good at, and it reminded me, of course, of a lot of his old movies from the 90s. So, of course, there's that feeling too. But like, it really worked. Like his like comedy style really worked for a character like Robotnik, and it didn't make me think that it's this is Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. This isn't Robotnik. It actually felt like Jim Carrey being Robotnik, which is what it should have been.
What did you think about his little montage scene to where evil grows?
I loved it. It was so goofy and like over the top, but the setting was cool. So I was like, I can't hate this because it's actually kind of hype.
What kind of surprised me is that they used a song like "Evil Grows." I was kind of thinking like, oh, they're gonna go with something like really like more cliche, but they kind of went through like a more niche song to really go with it. And I'm like, okay, I can dig this.
Are you talking about when he's in the ship doing all the stuff, like making his shit? And I love how that scene ends where he turns around with the guy. He's like, "Be like, I thought you'd like a latte."
A latte of Austrian? Nope.
Of course I would.
I love
the way you make them.
Which was the most Jim Carrey response, by the way.
And also, can I just say, I love Agent Stone.
Oh my god, he's great.
He was such a side character, but honestly, it was probably the most endearing performance. That poor man got abused so hard.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Eggman needed someone to bounce off of. He needed someone to like talk to, so he's not just talking to himself the whole movie.
And unfortunately, it can't be robot sidekicks yet. So
yeah, no.
Like I like Jim Carrey in this movie, but I think the worst scene was the one where his character was introduced. Like the one from the trailer with the nobody cares thing. I'm just like, all right, please get past this scene because I want to move on.
I thought it was fine, honestly. I still think that line is kind of funny when he just does the comparison thing. I mean, yes, the constant interruption thing is just kind of Jim Carrey's thing, and it's kind of annoying, to be fair, but I was fine with it.
It makes sense, though, because Robotnik's a really over-the-top, full-of-himself villain.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And and Jim Carrey did say that he was trying to give Robotnik more of a robotic vibe, because he kind of sees himself as, superior to man.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he talk about murdering, like, a kid who bullied him?
He talked about, like mortally wounding him. Didn't kill him, but now he drank everything through a straw.
Oh yeah, that was it.
He drank everything through a straw for 6 months.
I felt like that was crazy, but like the right type of crazy. I laughed at that because I was like, exactly what are they doing?
Like that is perfect.
So, another thing I just thought of is, how did you guys feel about the pause time effect with Sonic? Like, I know it's supposed to be him moving really, really, really fast that you barely see any movement, but like, at first I was like, I'd like it to move a little bit like what's it called? Like bats in Fallout, where they're still kind of moving a little bit.
Yeah.
But like they're moving incredibly slowly, but instead it's almost like
they only showed it doing that in like a few frames, but not like many of them, to be fair.
Yeah, because they did it in the bar scene, and I'm like, it would have been cool if there was still like a little bit of movement, and even with the missiles, like the thing from the trailer, it would have been cool if they showed a little bit more movement, because it seems like it doesn't it's a movie, so I shouldn't care, but it doesn't make sense that there's absolutely no movement.
Yeah,
because Sonic can go as fast as he wants, but he's not stopping time.
It didn't bother me just because it was a way to build up hijinks, and that's just kind of what the point of it was. It's just to kind of build up Sonic, being kind of a dick. I still
liked it. Don't get me wrong. I just thought, I would have preferred something more like VATS, essentially.
Yeah, no, I get that. Again, I'm just from the perspective of it gives Sonic an excuse to do stupid shit to people during that bar fight, and it kind of builds up when Dr. Robotnik just presses the button and suddenly, oh shit, now he's able to move too. I'm fucked.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I don't know. I thought the one at the bar was too long. Because I get that they were doing a lot of shit. Like, the one with the missiles, I think is fine. Like it's I don't remember what music scored that, but it looked cool, and you could see the missiles moving a little bit more than at the bar, like the bar fight where he's just straight up Zach Morris and pauses time.
Yeah, the bar fight one was long. I agree.
It did go a little too long. Again,
and plus, like, it's a '90s cliche to have a bar fight, and you could. I just felt like you could have done a lot more with Sonic in a bar fight instead of like having like a ridiculously long scene where he just does all these hijinks at once.
I think
Like, you could have let that breathe a little bit more.
I think you could have taken like a minute or two out of that whole scene, and nothing would have been lost.
Yeah, and you could have had some regular hijinks like with it too. Like the whole bar scene, I feel like, is way too long because it almost feels like a third of the movie.
I disagree, but
like I
No,
know
it wasn't that long.
I know it. I think it feels it might be a little bit hyperbole, but it feels like that's like a majority of the movie to me for some reason.
that's weird. I hate to disagree in such a drastic level, but that just
I could be wrong. I've only seen the movie once. I feel like the whole scene from start to finish, from when they show up at like the place he's on the phone, and from the time they bounce out of there, I feel like that's just a really long. It feels like a while.
Here's a random factoid that I'd like to get your guys' opinion on. How do you feel about Sonic's shoes being Pumas instead of Soaps?
no real issue.
Soap's not a company anymore. Pumas are sick. I fuck with Pumas.
That's true. The Sonic Pumas, I actually really like them, and
I mean,
part of me
honestly,
kind
the
of
Sonic
wants them.
Pumas look really nice, to be fair.
I actually
Part of
haven't
me
seen
kind of
these.
wants them, but I know that I would never be able to wear them. One, because of the size my foot currently is, and two, I don't think I'd ever be able to go out in public with those.
I mean, unless they have something, be fine. They're just ugly red shoes.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true.
really, they have no real Sonic branding on them because they're subtle enough to be like, oh, they're just a pair of really weird red shoes. That's fine.
I thought they looked better than the Soaps. That's what I'll say. And when I mean the Soaps, I mean the shoes originally that were in Sonic Adventure 2.
I mean, to be fair, those things were an over-designed hot mess, but
yeah, they also were made for like grinding. So like
It was kind of cool. Like, I'm gonna be real about it. It was kind of cool.
it was a brand deal. Speaking of brands,
yeah. Oh,
did you
Olive
know
Garden.
did you know about the Olive Garden and their unlimited breadsticks?
Ugh.
Dave, you know I don't have any other apps on my phone except the default ones and Olive Garden.
Go on Zillow to find yourself an apartment in San Francisco.
To be fair, I completely missed the Zillow one, so I was just like,
I thought that was fake.
No. I brought that up to Brandon, and he's like, no, I was just on Zillow the other day. I'm like, wait, what? People use this?
I'm like, genuinely, I think I completely missed that line. I don't know what came before it, but I just missed that line entirely. Like, I don't even know where it is in the movie. I'm like, where did that happen?
It's a night scene. He's talking to his wife, and she's just talking about checking out apartments in San Francisco.
Oh, that's probably why I don't remember it at all.
What was I going to say? And the Olive Garden return joke at the end, like.
Okay, the Olive Garden, like the initial Olive Garden joke, I was kind of fine with, but when they did like a reprise of the joke with the goddamn gift card, I was like, I hate this, and I hate that
I laughed, but I thought it was so dumb that they did that.
Yeah, basically that. I was like, why am I laughing at this? This is the dumbest fucking build-up you could have had for a joke. Olive Garden.
I was a little upset.
Thanks, Dix, there's not an Olive Garden near me.
I was a little upset because that man was framed for domestic terrorism and his reputation is ruined, and you give him a $50 gift card to Olive Garden.
Oh, you know what would have been even better? If they had given him, instead of the gift card, a pasta pass. Oh my god, I would have lost my
just
shit.
one.
Because you guys know what the pasta pass is, right?
No.
It's unlimited pasta for like 6 months. It costs $100. And it's limited.
That point, we just need a scene of Sonic eating pasta. So
and it's limited to 1,000 cards every year from the head office of Olive Garden.
Again, we should have just had a scene of Sonic eating pasta at an Olive Garden.
Like they got them a special edition of like the pasta pass. Like the government was able to pull strings and get an extra pasta pass. I would have lost my shit.
Olive Garden is just such a weird brand deal for Sonic.
And honestly,
why couldn't it have been the Sonic restaurant? Like,
look, as far as chain Italian restaurants go, I'd much rather go to Carrabba's than Olive Garden anyway. So,
I fuck with Carrabba's though. So good.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I only know about the Sonic thing existing because I've heard other people talk about Sonic as a fast food chain, and then of course the Mega 64 video.
Yeah, and then they actually have chili dogs at Sonic.
Yeah,
that's why it just didn't make sense.
I mean, at least they made a reference to chili dogs in the movie.
That was so
he eats
subtle.
them in slow-mo. That was the best part of that.
That was so subtle, but that was the first fart joke I never laughed at.
Oh god. I'm not gonna lie, I think I might have laughed at it, I can't remember.
I usually love a good fart joke, and I was just like, really? Of course.
What the fuck were you expecting? It's the fucking PG Sonic movie.
I don't know. I wouldn't expect tropes that I would see in any Adam Sandler comedy.
Are you
Fuck.
honestly surprised? Because Sonic the Hedgehog basically is Adam Sandler, except probably a lot less hyperactive.
That's the thing.
No.
I feel like I feel like that's a lot of
And
animated
now I've ruined
movies.
Sonic for just about half your audience, Zero.
Well, no. Here's the thing. It's not like Adam Sandler, because Adam Sandler has this. I realized this when I tried watching both Uncut Gems and Pixels recently.
Mhm.
That Adam Sandler has a character arc. He's a lovable. He's a lovable. Guy down on his luck, but he's also a jerk face, so people don't like him, and then he gets something that makes the movie, and then he's whatever, blah blah blah. And it's like the jerk face part is the part that I don't like about Adam Sandler. It's like, yes, you do this in every movie, buddy. Just get a new idea.
To be fair, I haven't watched an Adam Sandler movie in years, so...
I
Good for
hadn't
you.
until the Noise Boys made me try to watch Uncut Gems.
I'm sorry.
And I gave up.
Yeah, terrible.
So-
I fucking hated it.
So it's one of those things, and then I decided afterwards, because this podcast doesn't help out, so I can talk about it. That after only making it 18 minutes in Uncut Gems, I decided, let's see how long I can make it in Pixels. I made it up until he was a jerk face, 20 minutes. I made it longer in Pixels than Uncut Gems. I don't know if that's.
Do you typically have people forcing you to make you watch movies?
No, it's just usually like they want to talk about it on the podcast. I'm like, I don't want to be left out. I'm like, fine, I'll watch a bit of this movie. And I was like, nope, no more.
All right, fair enough. Then I'll retract what I was going to say about making you
also,
watch another movie.
there was a scene where Adam Sandler says, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking come," and I'm like, I need to see this movie.
Can we not talk about this in a Sonic review, please?
So back to Sonic.
Indeed.
Quick, great segue, actually. I wouldn't watch Uncut Gems ever again, but I would actually watch Sonic again.
Yeah,
At least
same.
there's that. At least we can give you that.
Okay, more references. What are some other great references we saw? Because obviously, Olive Garden was kind of a dumb one, but what about some of the other ones? We talked about the shoes. We talked about Olive Garden.
We talked about Sonic.
We talked about Sonic. I'm trying to think of the other ones.
Sorry, go ahead. You do yours first.
I was gonna say that scene where they're in the hotel room and Sonic's just kind of told to go crazy in the hotel room. You do see him doing the falling animation, like in the corner of your eye, and you're just like, really?
Oh, really? I didn't even notice
Yeah,
that.
no, you look like right above, like on one of the shelves. He's doing that like mid-fall animation with like the wavy arms.
See, this is why I've got to get this movie on Blu-ray, because I want to be able to go back and look at these references, as well as the behind-the-scenes shit. I really want to see that. I'm really curious.
You can tell that, again, I mean, considering who went on the new animation front, we know that they give a shit about putting these stupid fucking references that only we Sonic fans care about.
I guarantee if the Vancouver office, like, there's got to be full of fucking nerds if they're working on CG on a fucking movie like that. So there's
to
definitely
be fair,
to
be fair, they were being instructed by someone else. What the heck's that guy's name? Who's the one who does the Sonic Mania animation stuff?
Oh, Christian Whitehead? No,
that's the other
Christian
guy.
Bale.
But you know who I'm talking about. The guy who's been doing all the animations for Sega as of late with the Chow in Space Shore.
Yes, because he redesigned Sonic.
Yeah, he's the one who was in charge of the redesign. So it wouldn't surprise me if there were parts of the animation that he was directing on.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. I'm not saying it's definite, but it wouldn't surprise me if he gave some direction like, okay, do this here.
And also, there had to have been something, because, like, I know we're bouncing around, but that 16-bit ending sequence, like they definitely got assets, or they recreated assets to make that, because...
Oh, that was just... that credit sequence was fucking beautiful.
That was really, really well done. I was like, damn, this is really good. I enjoyed
when they brought in, like, Robotnik in, like, the original, and, like, all that, and they showed the Eggman logo in the background, I'm just like, oh my god, they used the actual logo.
Yeah, I actually really like the end credit sequence, but my friend turned to me and said, wouldn't the movie have been cool if it just looked like this the whole time?
No, honestly.
It wouldn't have sold.
It wouldn't have. I would have probably enjoyed it a bit more.
Like, you would have gotten maybe, like, a bunch of nerds to watch it, and it'd probably become a cult classic at, like, conventions and stuff like that, but if it just looked like that the whole time, no one would care. Not a single person.
Exactly. That kind of sucks, but
it would literally. This is what would happen. It would get nominated for an animated movie Oscar and then immediately lose to Pixar.
And here's the other thing too. Like somebody, because of that, somebody's gonna recreate the entire movie actually in 16-bit.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
YouTubers are. I mean, I'm pretty sure YouTubers are already trying to summarize the movie using 16-bit assets anyway. So
it's YouTubers, creatives, and Sonic fans. If you're all those combined, it'll happen. Like somebody's making that as we speak because somebody saw that ending. They're like, "Huh, I should remake the whole movie in 16-bit."
I mean, I'm pretty sure some of them were thinking of that going into the movie with YouTube dollar signs in their eyes.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, there's just that's the thing about this movie. Like, I don't think the references were that egregious, which is good. Like, they were just there they served a purpose, and they weren't in your face, except for Olive Garden. That was the only one that I felt
some of them were kind of painful. When Sonic was flossing for no reason, that was
okay.
Painful
He flossed twice, and I was like, it's okay.
And again, he's supposed to be a kid.
I know, I'm sorry. I hate to be an old man. I just found it painful.
Again, this is more of your old man trait showing. It's
yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm kind of annoyed by the flossing thing too, but I'm just like, no, this makes sense. Sonic would totally floss, and I hate that fact.
And that's the thing. In the back of my head, I'm like, okay, it's flossing, but at front, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. He probably watched some kid play Fortnite. So
yeah, Sonic stalking the whole movie and his friend, the domestic terrorist.
And who knows? Sonic might have stolen someone's Wi-Fi and played Fortnite himself. Who knows? Right?
It would not be surprising.
Don't give them an opportunity to put that in the next movie.
I mean, here's the thing: he might have
learned how to
steal.
Thor already did it.
Look, taking stupid lines from the movie, he probably learned how to steal Wi-Fi from the Donut Man. Because remember, Tom said that he stole their neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Donut Lord stole his Wi-Fi.
Again, that's part of the reason why I weirdly like Tom, because he's, such kind of a bastard. I don't know what it is.
But he's a lovable bastard.
He's a lovable bastard.
He's not doing anything that wrong.
But he's still kind of a jerk, because, I mean, how many times... Again, he punched a lot of people in the face. Mainly Dr. Robotnik, but still.
Hey, in a bar fight, it's perfectly fine to get involved. And the other people were Robotnik, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, still.
Oh, can we talk about Tom's fucking goofy-ass sidekick on the police force and how fucking great he was?
Oh, that poor man. That's me. That was like me in my first couple of months working at a hotel, and I'm just like, oh, yep, that sounds about right for someone who has no idea what they're doing.
His name was Wade Whipple.
Oh, wait.
Shoutouts to Wade Whipple. Bring him into the next movie, please. He was very
He probably will be, because he's probably going to be pissed off that he was left in a blackout town for, how long?
I can't believe that you went to San Francisco without me.
It's like, dude, you were off in San Francisco? What the heck?
Hey, listen, he's the one who pulls a gun at the end of the movie, so...
This is true. I mean, he does get a moment where he pulls a gun out on Robotnik.
And then Crazy, what's his name, has a chainsaw.
Crazy Carl has a fucking chainsaw, and I got really hyped. I was like, yes!
I love how they brought the chainsaw, and they're just like, put it down, Carl.
I
just wish he had a chance to chainsaw through some of the, egg robo things, some of the tiny things. They should have done that. They should have had, farmers with pitchforks and then Crazy Carl with his fucking chainsaw and shit down.
I don't know, the town band together to fight off the bad guy only to be defeated by main character is kind of a lame concept.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of glad...
It looked like a really piss-poor, Avengers idea.
I'm kind of glad they use the town more as a backdrop to the final battle, as opposed to,
Yeah, no, I feel you on that.
Instead of
then having
a whole
people
scene.
run away from fucking robots and shit too, and it's a big over fucking produced mess. It was simple. I liked that.
Oh, something I didn't realize until I was watching the movie is the rings are the warp rings, not the one he collects.
Yeah.
So I was very confused for a while. I'm like, I don't remember rings doing that. I remember them just being health, and I'm like, oh right, warp rings. Of course I don't know this. I've never beaten a Sonic game where I've gotten all the Chaos Emeralds.
And I mean, to be fair, neither have I, but I do know about the whole warp ring thing, so it's like, no, that makes total sense that they do that. And besides, the whole collecting rings thing, it just feels pointless, so they still gotta put them in the movie somehow, so that's the next closest thing you can really get.
Exactly.
And when he fell and lost all his rings, it made the sound, and I was okay with that.
There's another reference for you, and that's great.
Is there any other like I can't remember any.
I think we've covered essentially all the important bits for the most part.
I'm sure there's going to be ones we miss, but people
there's going to be entire compilations. I mean, I'm pretty sure Did You Know Gaming might already be working on one as we speak.
Like there's going to be somebody who's edited them all together too, especially when that Blu-ray comes out. It's going to be
like all references in the Sonic movie.
But yeah,
I'm surprised we didn't get a reference where like a child drops his headphones onto a crocodile. That would have been funny. Let me come up with these jokes for you, Sonic.
I feel like some characters you gotta kind of not give a shit about. Like characters like Vector and Big, as much as the internet loves them, I feel like save them for like future references.
I hate to be that.
You know what I could see? There's like Sonic has to infiltrate a place, and Vector says before he goes, he's like, just remember, find the computer room. And then the entire time he's like, what is it Vector told me to do? Right, find the computer room.
Plus, Sonic was in this movie. Nothing is off the table now.
I mean, Sonic was in the movie, so
nothing is off the table anymore.
Whatever comes after this happens. So,
oh god, if they make a sequel and somebody makes like a horror movie based on Sonic.exe in the movie,
no, they make like
why would they put me in a horror film?
No, someone like makes this whole like internet article saying how, or kind of like similar to Carl's character, how they think it's like an actual demon and they portray it as like the Sonic.exe look. That would be what you're looking at.
Yeah. Speaking of, can we talk about the potential for a sequel? Because there's a mid-credit sequence, not a post-credit sequence, but a mid-credit sequence.
It's after the first set of credits.
Yeah. Also, they Tails shows up, and it's the current voice of Tails, not someone else.
Which my wife commented on. Wow, Roger Craig Smith certainly got shafted in this movie, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because it's like, kinda. Wow, if that's the case, then.
Well, the thing is like, keep in mind, before he had Sonic, it was Jason Griffith.
Well, that was contract. Well, that was contract. No, it wasn't Jason Griffith before him. It was Ryan. Oh, fuck, what's his name? 4Kids 1.
That's Jason Griffith. If you're thinking of Ryan Drummond, that was the one before 4Kids.
I got them mixed up for some reason.
So, and I think all those voices, still, except for maybe Jason, sounded a little old for the Sonic they wanted to do. Like, the current voice of Sonic in the games, he's like he makes Sonic sound like he's like 20-ish.
Which he kind of is at this point.
Which he is, but in the movie he wasn't.
Yeah, so, no, again, it's like, on the one hand, we can sit here and go, wow, Roger Craig Smith kind of got shafted here if they're keeping some of the original voice actors. But at the same time,
I think it was a smart idea to get the original voice actors for Tails. That makes sense.
Really, no one else could really do that as well, I think.
If they get Dan Green for Knuckles, I could die happy, but it's not going to happen.
A lot of people, if Knuckles, it looks like, I mean, especially if the whole Knuckles tribe thing at the beginning was any sort of sign, if Knuckles gets involved in this potential series, then they're probably going to go with a bigger name actor to do it.
Vin Diesel. That's my pick.
Actually, a lot of people have been saying if anyone should do it, it should be Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, please don't. He already asked if he was president.
I mean, the thing is, he actually I mean, I'd be okay with that because unlike a lot of actors, he actually understands that, hey, voice acting is more than just being a celebrity and using your natural voice. So I think he'd be a reasonable person to actually, audition for the role.
I mean, but let's look at Vin Diesel though. He's very famous for voicing beloved cartoon characters that don't really have to say a whole lot.
I mean, one of his earliest famous pieces of media, it's not really famous, but early pieces of media was him in doing a promo video for the Street Sharks.
And then
he's a big fucking nerd.
He was the Iron Giant.
But though what I will say is I don't think he would fit Knuckles.
Yeah, no, I agree too.
As much as I like Vin Diesel.
I think he's a little too soft. I think he's a little too quiet for Knuckles, because Knuckles is a boisterous piece of shit and kind of an idiot. Which I think suits The Rock a bit more.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I could see him doing a sort of Maui voice with it and it kind of working out pretty well.
Has he done any other voice work besides Moana?
I can't.
Be real about this. Was he only good at Moana? Because I'm pretty,
I'm sure The Rock's been in a ton of stuff.
He's been in a lot more. He's been in more. The thing is, it's just I'm just basing it off some comments I've seen him say about voice acting, how, it's actually kind of one of the hardest jobs you can really do, and it's not just, you know, using your natural voice and being like, hey, it's me, I'm such and such a celebrity, and I'm playing in Zebra, what the fuck? Oh, I'm sorry, was that too much of a dig at Madagascar?
I was about to say, I'm like, wow, what did Chris Rock do to you?
Chris Rock is a piece of shit actor.
I'm not excited for, actually.
I like his comedy better than his acting.
Anyway,
I do too.
back to the point.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered, like, I know we didn't go beat by beat, but I'm okay with that because we don't need to sit here for hours on end talking about every minor detail.
I mean, it's the Sonic movie. Yeah, no, it was pretty good, but at the same time, it's the Sonic movie.
So, like, with, let me ask this question to you guys then. So, obviously, I said I'm going to get this movie on Blu-ray because I'm very curious about the behind the scenes, as well as I want to see parts of it again. The other question I want to pose is, if a sequel happens, which it most likely will because this movie is doing fantastic, will you go see it? Because I'm going to say a yes, but with an asterisk because I want to see what we get next with a trailer, but I still want to go see it, so...
I mean, the answer for me is obviously yes and yes.
Yes. What about you? What about you, Doom? Would you see a sequel to the Sonic movie?
I think I could be begrudgingly brought back to a sequel depending on what they bring.
I feel like you'd give it one more chance, and if it failed you, then you just give up.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I remember I was very salty about this movie, and I've been trying to look at it in a very positive light. And letting it sit a little bit, you know, there are certain things that did grow on me about the movie. My rating's not going to change very much though, but I would more than likely go back and watch another one of these depending on what they do for the trailer.
What is your rating again, just so I know?
I was giving it a 3 out of 10. Now, I also want to say I look at movies on a much broader spectrum than a lot of other people. I mean, I know you said a 7 out of 10. After watching Parasite, which I gave a 9, I can't rate Sonic anywhere close to that. So I have to. I'm a little biased with what I do because I really look at movies and rate them very analytically. But it's like a 4. Like it's passable. It's serviceable. There's a lot of groans to it. There's some cringe to it. It's actually probably the actual best video game movie that's actually been made.
See, I'm not 100% sure because I agree
with you on that at least.
As much as like this movie's great and it's a great video game movie, I still like I said, I still like when I think of video game movies, I still think movies like Mortal Kombat and Detective Pikachu are better films in the long run. But in terms of like displaying like being like an adaptation of a franchise, and I know it's a new take on it too. I think this probably does it the best. Mortal Kombat did a lot with the lore, but like it's not like, I'll admit it's not a good film, but it's a good film in terms of like if you know the Mortal Kombat lore.
It's a good fan film.
It's pretty good. Like to the point where the guy who played Shang Tsung in the movie years ago is now Shang Tsung in the newest game. Like that's how much people liked that movie. So it's one of those things where like you could tell they tried and they came out with a decent product on that one. And with Sonic, it's the same thing. They came out with a pretty good product. With Detective Pikachu, I didn't know what my expectations were. And I ended up being like enjoying that one. But I have to say, like, I think I enjoyed that movie, Detective Pikachu, a little more than I enjoyed Sonic. And that's just because of where I was at and what the final product made me feel. I know that you have a different view on that, Eric, but do you want to just go over your feelings on that?
Yeah, essentially. So, in a weird case here, I agree with Doom, but for different reasons, and I partially agree with Zero for various different reasons as well. Like, I think as far as video game movie adaptations go, I still think that Sonic is the best we've gotten so far. And probably as far as movie quality goes, I still put Sonic up there on the higher point. The fact is that, and again, my mind was comparing it to Detective Pikachu almost the entire time, like almost like a mental combat, because I'm fans of both franchises, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there was always one thing that bothered me about Detective Pikachu that doesn't happen to me with the Sonic movie, and it was probably the one reason why I can't go back and care much for the Detective Pikachu movie. Okay, there's two reasons actually, but this one's actually more important and actually makes more of a statement than the other reason, which is just the fact that the human characters in Pokemon and Detective Pikachu are blander than fucking wet toast.
What was the wife's name? No one even knows. She was just wife.
I do like the one scene where she's like, I love how we didn't talk about her because she's not really a main character, but like, I do love the one scene where she's like, oh, you two are cute together. She's like, they're like, no, we're not cute. Shut up.
I mean, I just kind of love the fact that she was just willing to accept this whole time and even throw her sister under the or even throw, I think was it her mother or her sister?
It was her sister.
Yeah, I love how she was able to just throw her sister under the bus for this blue alien creature, and he's just like, no, I'm not listening to you. I'm not divorcing my husband. Shut the fuck up.
And you know what, though? I really appreciate Tom's taste in women. That's all.
But at least I will remember that. At least I'll remember Pretzel Lady more than I'll remember whatever the fuck that character was who was fucking Deadpool's son.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, like, again, and the point I was going to make, I'm gonna remember Ben Schwartz as Sonic more than I'm gonna care for, Deadpool playing Deadpool, but he's just Pikachu.
But see, here's the thing, and I maybe mentioned, and I've had,
and again, I know it's
before.
not Pikachu, it's a different character, but it just feels so goddamn forced. Like, it feels like one of those passion projects that a director is like, okay, and we're making this movie specifically for this actor. No one else is getting this role. This person is specifically for this movie.
It should have been Danny DeVito. That's my opinion. But
it's funny. Just going on the Detective Pikachu thing real quick is I walked into it thinking it was going to be Pikapool, and I was kind of glad it wasn't. Like, I think it was it CJ saw it before I did, and he was telling me about it. He's like, "Look, it's not what you think it's going to be. Just make sure your expectations are in check. You don't want to be disappointed just because it's not that." And I'm like, well, I wouldn't be disappointed if it wasn't Pikapool, but I'm like, I wanted to be, I just wanted to see it because it looks like an interesting movie just with the graphics and everything. And the thing with that movie too is that I liked that it also was kind of its own thing. Yes, there is a Detective Pikachu game, and yes, a lot of the plot points from the game are part of the movie as well.
They made one change in the plot, but that was about it.
But I mean, I liked the way that movie went, and the reason I would say probably why I liked that better than Sonic is Sonic felt more nostalgic, while Detective Pikachu felt more entertaining. I guess you could say.
Disagree.
And and I know why you disagree, but that's just how I feel. Like, I would, just for example, like I said, Sonic was like a 7 or 8. I would make like Detective Pikachu is like an 8.5 to a 9 for me.
And my score is almost completely reversed. Though I wouldn't dare give Sonic a 9.5. I'd say maybe a 9 at most, 7.5 at the lowest for me.
Yeah. So and Sonic has the potential to become a 9 with the sequel, whatever it is. Like, it has the potential to become better than it is. I just think like when I think about if I compare those two movies, and I try not to compare movies like that too often. When I think of comparing those two movies, I was more entertained, and I feel like more
catered to,
more not just catered, but more like work without having to go hardcore on the lore was done in Detective Pikachu, because it's Pokemon, you get it.
Well, here's the thing. With Pokemon, you either accept it or you don't. There's no, weird thing where you have to explain everything. It's either you deal with the world of Pokemon or you fuck off.
And the other thing I liked about that movie is it was people living in a world of Pokemon. You didn't have to explain it, and people didn't have to act like it's a weird thing. Where Sonic, it makes sense that he would be weird in that world, because it's supposed to be our world, but
and again, that's my one problem with the barrier of entry with Pokemon. Is like, it is the most popular franchise in the world, don't get me wrong, but there is still this thing of you just kind of have to accept that the Pokemon world and everything that happens in it doesn't need to be explained, no matter how much you demand it needs to be explained.
Yeah.
Eric, what's your opinion on the designs of the and I'm asking this as somebody who's never seen Detective Pikachu. I've only seen the trailers. But what is your opinion on the animation style of that?
Half of them were great, half of them were utter and complete shit.
Yeah, half of them weren't good. I agree with that. Some of them.
Like, here's the thing. I know people like the Pikachu. I didn't like the Pikachu. I hated the Jigglypuff. I hated the Mr. Mime. I hated that Lickitung. But when I saw the Greninja and that Torterra for the first time, especially the Torterra, when I first saw that on the screen, my eyes just lit up because that's one of my favorite Pokemon, and I was just like, this is exactly what I wanted from this.
I agree, but I think I really like Greninja and Pikachu were my two favorites.
I mean, Greninja is the most popular Pokemon in the world now, so
yeah, I mean,
which I don't agree with, but whatever.
So.
Like, literally, he is now the most popular Pokemon.
And I like the way Charizard looked, but there's some I didn't like the way Jigglypuff looked.
Oh god, that Charizard was fucking hideous. I'm sorry.
I saw the Charizard. I don't like the Charizard.
And the Mr. Mime, I mean, it's supposed to be creepy, so I don't care.
I mean,
so that one made sense to me.
See, that's why I'm just shocked that people were so on board with these like kind of off-putting, realistic Pokemon designs.
Oh, you mean these DeviantArt designs? Because that's where they got them from.
These weird DeviantArt design fucking Pokemon. But the second we get a weird, realistic Sonic, everybody's like, "Fuck no, we can't have this." Why is it acceptable for one and not for the other?
Because we want to imagine what Pokemon would look like if they were real. That's the reason.
The other thing too is the Detective Pikachu's initially and in the final result matched the designs of the actual characters. When the original Sonic design came out, it didn't match the character. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, and that's why they went ahead and changed it and made it something that made more sense to match the design of that character. And that's the thing too. Like when I saw Detective Pikachu, I didn't have to guess what Pokemon it was. I knew what Pokemon it was every time I looked at a Pokemon. With Sonic, it's like if all the characters looked different, you have to kind of guess other than knowing what their name is.
I mean, you don't need to guess with Sonic though, because he's the main character.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm saying like if it had been if they had added more Sonic characters into this movie,
I mean,
the fans would know who it is, but people who only vaguely know of Sonic would have no idea.
But they'd be introduced to Sonic because he's the main character.
That's true.
And again, with me, I'm also have some slight bias because as far as actual good movies versus movies I actually enjoyed, as far as video game movies go, I would say that Detective Pikachu is my second as far as what I would say qualifies a good movie as far as video game movies go. But as for ones I enjoy, I'd probably throw that in maybe fourth, maybe fifth place. Behind,
we talked about this in the last one too, by the way.
Because I enjoyed the Warcraft movie despite how fucking terrible that was. Because I'm just a fucking whore at this point. I like the Mario Brothers movie, just even as how shitty that is.
I know it's so bad it's good. I 100% agree with you on that one.
And I do have a soft spot. In my heart for the Mortal Kombat movie. So
I do as well.
And I like all of those more than Detective Pikachu because again. I cannot get into Ryan Reynolds' performance. It's just the worst thing for me in that movie.
I understand that, but it's kind of I guess that's where
it's unfair. And I know it's unfair to judge it that way. And maybe I also just don't like the fact that Mewtwo's in it. And once again, Mewtwo is the big end all be all of a Pokemon thing. Of course he fucking is it not fucking Mewtwo.
I'm okay with that though.
Yeah, I would take Mewtwo over some of the.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they somehow managed to shove Charizard into the climax.
I mean, I'm an old man.
They didn't fucking do that, so.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm a super old man when it comes to this because I only fuck with the first 2 generations of Pokemon. But I'm
and the newest one, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. They're warming up to me. They're not all terrible. But, I'm kind of still happy it's Mew or Mewtwo because a lot of the other ones start to get really stupid after a while, like those God tier Pokemon. Some of them are just really dumb moving forward.
I mean, to be fair, I do get it, but I feel like just using Mewtwo again is just seriously.
I would have been a lot more pissed off if the villain took over Arceus. I would have been more pissed. I'm really.
It would have been an interesting twist because, it's an actual god, but no, you just pick the one that everyone knows and they make a sneaky, cheeky reference to, oh, remember Cinnabar Island? Oh, Team Rockin', those weird nudge, nudge, hint, hint references to the first movie.
If they ever made a second Detective Pikachu, which I don't think they should or they would because it's it wrapped up pretty well. If they made a second one, Arceus being one in there somewhere and used by a villain, that would make sense to me. But
we need another. If we're gonna do another Pokemon game, we need a side game that actually has a plot that's as cohesive as Detective Pikachu, which. To be fair, the Pokemon franchise doesn't really have outside of maybe the Mystery Dungeon franchise, but that'd be a completely different type of movie.
Oh, by the way, by the time this comes out, the Mystery Dungeon remake will be out.
I won't be getting it because I have to get Animal Crossing and Doom. And I have to get 2 copies of Resident Evil 3.
I wasn't expecting it to be a thing, but I'm happy it is, so whatever.
Yeah. But anyways, enough of the comparisons for that. That's basically our thoughts on the Sonic movie. We generally thought it was okay to good. So if it's still in theaters by the time you hear this, and you're interested in Sonic, or you're just interested to see if anything we said was, what ripped you at all, definitely go check it out. If you've seen the movie, leave a comment down below on what your thoughts were, because I'd be interested to see what people's thoughts actually were now that the movie has come out. But let's get into just some stuff we're working on. Eric, you working on anything?
Not at the current moment. I'm actually about to go on about a week-long personal vacation. And when I come back, hopefully I'm going to start working on trying to get my computer replaced and hopefully get back into streaming.
Have fun on your trip, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. The Bahamas will be lovely if my parents don't drive me absolutely insane.
Yeah, but you're in the
Don't worry, Hannah will be
Bahamas.
there.
It doesn't matter. Your parents are there. It's the Bahamas.
You've never met my family.
No, but I'm sure they're still lovely in the Bahamas. There's nothing wrong in the Bahamas.
Yeah, the big plan right now is for me to just work on getting my tower replaced sometime after I come back, and then I've already made up a new streaming setup, so I've redone my whole UI setup for streaming. So I've got that redesigned. I just need to, get some new stuff. I'm probably going to try to see if I can maybe start streaming other games, if I can get, more things. And
when you get the new PC, hit up either Kirby or CJ about setting up the Elgato if you have any trouble, because they're very familiar with it. So
yeah.
Because I know that Hannah has the Elgato.
Yeah,
so
no, that's what I'm probably going to use, since she's not really using it, since she's just doing exclusively PlayStation 4 stuff. Other than that, there's my Twitter account. I have a Tumblr that I don't use. I have a Tumblr that I do use, but it's niche stuff, so no one really cares about that.
Well, you know what? It is what it is, right? So, but I look forward to you when you finally come back to streaming. But take your time. Don't rush it, and have fun on your trip. Like I said, don't enjoy the Bahamas. Just Hannah will be there, so don't worry about your parents.
Enjoy the Bahamas with your father and mamas.
And my brother, who can burn in the fiery pits of hell. It's okay, because he's never going to see this ever in his life. He doesn't know me.
So, Doom, I know you talked about this on the Noisecast, but for the people who don't see the Noisecast and just watch this, what's coming up for you?
First of all, go fucking watch the Noisecast.
Yes, go watch the Noisecast.
It's very good. If you like the Hunter-based podcast, and you like to watch a podcast where Zero's a little out of his element, but still rolls with the punches like the best of them, go check that out, because it's a lot more freeform.
I know that the No Whacking episode is up, and I think the next one should be up. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, this will be in the future, so it'll be up.
I hope the future's cool. I hope they took care of that thing. Whatever.
I just ask Jordan every time how the future is, because he lives a day ahead of us.
I hope we're not dead by then.
Oh, gee, thanks, Eric. Now I'm having anxiety that I'm going to be dead before this comes out.
Well,
guys,
look, I'm the one leaving the country. I'm the one most likely to die here.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Nah, it's true.
It's only Canadians that get coronavirus.
I was about to say, that ship I'm going on, it actually did have an outbreak.
Oh, well, just wear a mask.
Hey guys, just real quick, it's not as serious as it actually is. It is a flu, but most of the people who have been deceased from areas of China are people that were already confirmed to not have the greatest health on planet Earth. So
the more you know.
Yeah. So
and the people that have it quarantined in Canada right now, they're only being quarantined so they can test it, so they can find a better way to counteract. So
the more you know.
But yeah, Doom, back to you.
I'm working on a project with Vegeta 3986 that should be coming out soon, called The Deep Dive. That's going to get its own YouTube channel. I was supposed to render it while I was at work, and I didn't. I'm also working on a lot of music right now. I'm going back to the studio this weekend to record 2 tracks, and I have an album coming out May 1st.
Oh, May 1st. Sweet. So yeah, by the way, he has that single out right now, Infect the Mind. It's on Apple Music and Spotify, in case you guys didn't see that. And
or in case you're Zero and you like mentioning it 80,000 times.
Listen, I'm gonna get you those 1,500 streams, okay?
Isn't that crazy? You gotta
even if I have to do them myself.
Isn't that crazy that you gotta listen to one song 1,500 times for it to count as one album sale?
Yeah, I don't know how
Please,
that works, but
y'all buy merch and if you just buy merch and shit, please.
You need to make those links available because I only know the Spotify and the Apple Music link. But just going back real quick to the deep dive, I got an early preview of that of the first cut of it. It's solid.
Zero helped
You guys
out with
will
it.
probably like that.
Zero helped out for a couple bits.
But yeah, so the album and deep dive. Is there anything else you got working on other than those things?
No.
No. Okay, you're yeah. Where can people find find you and stuff? You
they can find me at the Doom TV on Twitter. I don't really post much cognizant thought on there. But if you guys want to laugh, maybe check that out. I'm usually at Zero's streams, hanging out, doing what I do.
You also stream yourself now too.
Yeah, rare. Yeah, I do that occasionally too. I'm on Twitch.
Yeah. It's the Doom TV on Twitch as well, isn't it?
No, it's just regular Doom TV. I think I got that one.
Okay.
If only I stuck with my original alias, I could have had them all, but it's too long.
No, it's fine. It's kind of hard to spell because every time I try to put Electric Doom into YouTube, I can't find your channel, so I have to go back to old times I linked it.
This is why I'm not allowed to bitch why I never blew up, because I made it kind of hard to find my shit.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's fine. As for my side of things, I do have, hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll have one of my new series where I just talk about gaming stuff out. I'm also working on, like I said, the Noisecast and a previous episode of Hunter Base Podcast, so you can listen to those. Noisecast is on Excalibur's channel, youtube.com/Excalibur. I am still going to be streaming the Mega Man Zero games because I beat the first one on stream, and by the time you see this, maybe I beat the rest of them because the collection came out. So you can check that out on twitch.tv/Zeromaster, where I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And other social medias, Facebook, Zeromaster fan page, Twitter, @Zeromaster, and of course my two channels, the review one, which you're on right now, and the Let's Play one, where I post my Let's Plays. So, but anyways, that's going to probably do it for this episode. Guys, thanks for coming back and giving your thoughts on seeing the movie. I know we are short one person because they hadn't seen it yet, and due to time, we couldn't reschedule so they could see it, but I'm glad that we got our opinions out there, because I think we had a good varying of opinions on this film, and so for the Hunter Base Podcast, I'm Zeromaster.
One of us go. I was being polite.
I mean, you're the one who's more frequently in these things, so I thought you would go first.
Oh, I was being really polite. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Doom TV. Wait, bye. I'm Doom TV.
And I'm Eric, JKA Chow.
And I'll see you guys on the next one, and these guys will probably be back for another one in the future. So
yeah, I gotta go slay some Octoroks or whatever they're called in this Monster Hunter world.
All right, take care, guys. See you on the next one.
Yeah.